that's live. I have my recording going there.
Oh, nice.
So welcome aboard. I usually tell people to bring a blank piece of paper, a mechanical pencil, and a 3 refiner, which I forgot, but I got the pencil and some paper here.
Nice. So here, can I give you a microphone?
Oh yeah.
That way I can hear you.
This is the whole thing. I used to record off a laptop normally.
Oh yeah. No, that works.
That's work nowadays.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yep.
Switch.
Yep.
Let's try that again.
Bags, nice pants.
Sure, you come undone at the hem.
Oh, that's
They're authentic from the neighborhood, though. They're from the
Oh, nice.
Augusta.
nice. Oh, here. I swear I'm gonna lose this thing before this project's over. It's a little better if you're willing to untouch the shirt, but it's
Put it on lanyard, right?
yeah.
That works. Can you check levels here?
Yep.
Yada yada yada.
Okay, let's hear.
Yada 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 yada. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Sweet.
Okay. Are we ready to begin?
Yeah, and like I know it'll be a little clunky just because like we'll figure out the mechanics of how I can join you while still maintaining the porch element of this. But
Yeah. Do you want to put the camera through this window? Is that the idea?
that's kind of what I was thinking.
Let me open that up then. All right. Well, see what kind of shot you can get.
Yeah.
I'll move these items.
Sure. So and then would you like? Do you want to jump into the music part first and then chat after, or do you want to chat a bit first, or what?
We might as well tell me when we're rolling in the sense that we're going to start it like it's a normal lesson.
Okay,
And then,
okay,
then
cool.
there's chatting and playing and
Right.
whatever.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Then I'll ask you. Like,
Do you mind moving that
Oh,
file
yes.
just so I can find more of a view? Perfect. And just because I have kind of I happen to have a shop set up right now that has this window, but
yeah.
is there any way I can get you to kind of like introduce me to what this is all about by like through the window?
Through the window? Yeah, absolutely. Are we ready?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Folks, this is Mr. Walker's project where I gather, looks into the homes of many Torontonians or the outside of them. Here, the piano studio is right at the edge of the house, with the piano right by the window. He's going to come in for a first lesson in the anarchist piano lessons method. I'll find when we begin the lesson what his piano background is, but it doesn't matter what level of background anyone is, because everyone can learn using the proper method. And the method is to wander around Toronto and see what you find. What else should I say about your project?
Sorry?
What else should I say about your project?
Oh, about this, I mean, I'll ask you some questions later, but just, I mean,
You got like a tagline for me to say? Like,
no, just
what's the name of the project?
This one is From Where I'm Sitting. But
Folks,
yeah, I mean,
welcome to From Where I'm Sitting. But I'm not, I'm kneeling and looking out a window. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna move this up.
You're gonna try to do a closer shot? Okay.
Yeah, so I'll kind of.
Pass me that drink.
Oh, yeah.
Not the coffee. Yeah.
Okay, you just gotta test the shot here. You can
Yeah.
put the camera like right in the window.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let me see what I can see. Do you have any more light in there?
Oh, we could. I just turned it off because it's hot.
Yeah. Let's see here. Just thinking the best way to do it.
You also could do it through here.
Yeah.
It's my first beverage of the day. Replenishing everything I sweated out over the night.
Yeah.
I can feel my brain coming back. I've been waiting for this kind of heat wave. That's what I prefer.
You like the heat wave?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I usually don't complain about the heat, but it's tough to be like running around the city in this.
If it was like this every day, I'd take this over the snow any day.
Yeah.
But with Canada's legal system, I can't move south because politically that's dark.
Okay.
Can we have like Canada's rights and freedoms in a hotter environment?
All right. Yeah, this can work.
Yeah, it's better.
I think so. Yeah.
And I can send you the video from this side angle as well if you want to edit
Sure.
it in. For that'll have the actual keys and probably clearer piano sound.
Right.
So that's what it's tested for.
Nice. That'll be good. All right. Almost ready.
Okay.
Okay, so I might just check the recorder at some point, but yeah, we're rolling.
Okay.
Rolling there, rolling here. Alright.
All right. Well, welcome to the lesson. This is Anarchist Piano Studios. Maybe I should start calling it. It's usually called Anarchist Piano Lair, where we teach the Anarchist Piano lessons. This bench is an organ bench, so you have to move it slightly back and kind of perch on the edge. Otherwise, your spine will be kind of messed up. So try that now.
Okay.
Come on in and have a seat, and show me what you would do if you just walked up to a piano and just started playing.
Okay.
And we're going to modify from there.
So, I don't have a lot of chops, I would just kind of... That's all about
Keep
I
going.
do is major chords.
Keep going. More playing, less talking. You bring in the major triads again. Okay, let's start with that. So we got a C minor triad. Let's do melodies using just that chord. So we'll do call and response, and the rule for this exercise would be you start on the note that I end on. So let's do simple melodies using just those three notes. Now take the key from me. No, take the one I'm holding. Yep. And listen to the rate at which it fades. And if you're going to repeat that note, you have to hold it and do it with a different finger, or you go to another note in the chord. Yeah, but don't repeat exactly. Well, you can, but you don't have to. Grab that note from me.
And now,
You guys,
answer, but not the exact same per se?
unless that's what the answer demands. Oh, but still just those three notes.
Sorry. Okay.
Triad melodies, since you know your triads. But don't do that. See, we just do it with them. 1, 1, 1. It should be 1, 2, 1. Always. That's called the new finger rule. One of the first rules. They usually call it Rule 0, although I call it 3 different rules. Rule 0, but let's call it Rule 0. New finger rule. So always use a new finger. And to help us with that, we can describe our fingers. So here I'm going to do same thing we're doing, but I'm going to say my finger number. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And take that finger, that note from me, and say the finger you're using.
4.
And then everything you do, you say the number of the finger.
1, 2, 3, 5.
One hand. Okay, so notice what happens there? So there, because we're saying the number, I can notice that you said 5, 5. And so one way to write the new finger rule is that you never do 1, 1, you never do 2, 2, you never do 3, 3, you never do 4, 4, you never do 5, 5 in fingers. You never repeat a finger. So let's start again from middle C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And never 2, 2. Grab that one. Keep going. 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. That's not the chord though. 2. I'll take a turn. 2, 1, 2, 3, 5. Go from there. And let it go. 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. Go from there. Good. Now your left hand's going to be the drone like this. So grab the drone with your left hand, and I'm going to play the right hand for now, but with your left hand, listen for when it fades out, and you have to play it with a new finger after it fades out. Sure. There's two ways that you can make it more rhythmic when you need to beat one, or just when it fades out. I'm just watching for you to switch fingers is the main thing.
That's a different chord. We'll use that one too. Oh, careful. G minor's there. And it's this way when you get to there. And now we're going to go to D minor. The circle of fifths in minor. So far. A. And then, yeah, I would probably go back to G at that point. Okay, we're going to do a number of different exercises. That's our first exercise, triad melody over a root drone. And I picked the exercise based on physically what you're already doing, because there's a million possible entry points. But the basic meta rule is follow a new rule every day. And then you exercise your rule following ability, and then you have the ability to follow your own rules, as opposed to just like these are the fixed rules. Constantly changing the rules is part of the like questioning the rules aspect of it. Okay, so scoot over to just stand up for a second. Occasionally I'll film the bench. Okay, so
Actually, I'll switch over here just so I'm out of the way of the shot.
oh yeah, the shot. Oh yeah, normally
Sorry.
that wouldn't be such an issue. Okay, so we just did triad melodies over a drum. And I just gapped my exercise right now. Oh yeah, so recognizing the chords. Okay, so which triads are all white notes? Do you happen to know? Any idea? Like C major is one of them.
Right, so besides C major, I don't know, you're talking to a pretty ignorant musician here.
That's alright, that's why you're here. So there's C major, then there's D minor, E minor, there's this F chord, G, A minor. But then when you get to B, it's not major or minor. This is a diminished triad. So the white notes, you kind of avoid that one. So even if you allow what are called parallel fifths, which you normally don't allow, like going up like this, you eventually have to stop. Because that was not a major or minor triad. And do you know what a semitone is? So any two keys are one semitone apart. So here the B and C, there's no black key in between. So they're a semitone apart. These are a semitone apart. And you can measure any chord in semitones. So here's C major. You can think of it as 4 plus 3 semitones. This voicing of it is 4 plus 3 semitones. If you move the notes around, you move the E up here, it's different. Then it's like 7 plus 9. So this C minor pattern is 3 plus 4, and the C major pattern is 4 plus 3 semitones. So if you just go through like this is a 4 plus 3, 3 plus 4, 3 plus 4, 4 plus 3, 4 plus 3, 3 plus 4, 3 plus 3. This is the only one that doesn't add up to 7. And if you want to fix it and make it sound less dissonant and metal, you can sharpen the top note. So this F can become an F sharp. Now it's B minor. Now it's back to diminished. You also could lower the bottom note, maybe add to 7 and go. B flat major, B diminished, B minor. So those are the ones that are kind of creeping in there when you look for major and minor chords.
Okay, cool.
And what we're going to help you with is finding the notes quickly. So we're going to use a piece of the triad, which is called a third. And we're going to find thirds in the white notes. So if I play a single note, like D, by the way, D is a point of symmetry. If you look at this pattern of black and white notes, it reflects in D. It also reflects in this note, which has two names, G sharp and A flat. But if you want a point of symmetry with a unique name, it's D. So we can almost call D the point of symmetry, even though there's 2 points of symmetry in the repeating pattern. So people often talk about middle C, but it's a bit more interesting to talk about middle D. Even though the exact middle of the piano is here, but that depends on whether you, like, if you leave a note off the top, then the center moves around. But middle D is where it's at, regardless of the size of your keyboard. It doesn't matter what the physical middle is. So this D, that's, you call that a 0. It's 0 semitones away from itself. 0 or O. And if both the notes go out, we go out to a 4 and into a 0. So it's O, 4, O. And you also can move that 4 around. So instead of going out, where the top goes up and the bottom goes down, you can go 0 out, and you can go up, where they both go up. And you go down, where they both go down. And you can go what we can call in, where the top goes down and the bottom goes up. So it's O, out, up, down, in. Or something like O, out, down, up, in. we're gonna start with stuff like that. So just play middle D to start, and just say D. Okay, that's a D.
Okay. Does it matter which finger? Which digit?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and just perch slightly more on this. Yeah, you'll grab it back. Well, thank you.
Okay.
And then go D, out, in. That's D, out, down. Out, in goes back to the D. D, out, in. Good.
And what is that considered?
Well, we're doing white notes for now to simplify things. That would be, if you really specify, that would be D, out 1 1, in 1 1, specifying exactly how many semitones.
Okay.
But when you say out, we just mean along the scale.
Okay.
D, out, in. Okay, now try D, out, up.
So D, out.
Oh, it's all white notes.
Okay, so.
Yes.
Up.
And then down, and then in. Yes. And then, by the way, there's a special thing called ficta where we raise the lead note when we come back. So we go D, out, up, down, in. That's down with a ficta. But we'll do that later. That's where it gets, that's later in music history, they start raising that note. So now we're going to do something like D, out, up, down, 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 in. Try that.
So.
D, out, up. Yeah. And yes, and then try it with the raised note. But only at the end. Oh, that was right, except you skipped this one. And even though we were doing this one hand, now you're going to do it two hands, so it's easier to follow the new finger rule. So do it with two hands, and I'm going to watch your fingering.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Stand up for a sec. And we do a lot of back and forth. Like just kind of it won't be that long, so we don't have to. And yeah. Now you're going to give the instructions to me. So you're going to tell me D.
Okay, D.
And then let's say it has to begin out.
Okay, so out, up again, down, down with the.
Say down ficta. It's called music of ficta.
ficta.
Or just even just say ficta. I'll know what it is.
Ficta, okay, and back to middle D.
And say in.
In.
And that's where there should be a wait. And actually, at this point, I should take a complete breath, lift off, and prepare the note again. Go back to D, and then out. And now what?
Down, up, and back to in.
Now we're in C. That's how you modulate. So this is called Ionian, and we're gonna write all of our modes here. So in the middle, let me write what this is. Exercise. This is called parallel, stepwise, white note, thirds. They're called thirds because they have three letter names inclusive. D, E, F, three letter names. When we count semitones, it's not inclusive. We start at 0. When we start letter names, we start at 1. It's because they were doing that before they even had 0, I think. White note, thirds, with contraction. Cadences, we call those. Cadence is the end of the phrase. Contraction. Cadences, E, G, here's D, F, C, E, D. So in to the cadence. That's the basic idea. We don't need sheet music until it's real complicated. Blank page is more creative. Okay, so yeah, do more telling. Oh yeah, we're gonna name the modes, and then you're gonna tell me the commands. So Dorian on D. Now I'm gonna put them alphabetical. I'm gonna put them order of the circle of fifths. So if I go up here, that's Aeolian. When I say a fifth, it's a 7 semitones. It happens to be 5 letter names, but more relevant than 7 semitones. G, Mixolydian. And then C, where we were, Ionian or major. And then the one at the bottom of this stack of 7s is F, Lydian. F for first or fundamental, something like that. A, E up here is Phrygian. And then the last one, B, is Locrian. They didn't really use this one in the medieval era because of that 6. It's more of a heavy metal sounding scale or avant-garde classical music of the 20th century. Okay, so we're on C. Okay, so keep directing me, and I'm just going to let you know where we are. So we cadence in C, and once we go into a unison, that means I'm going to take a breath, lift my hand, and go back to the note. And it's going to go C, out, then what? Out again? We haven't covered that yet. We're just doing thirds.
Okay.
We could do that. C, out, then in. Now what? Back to thirds.
Up.
Up.
And down.
Down, down.
Now down again.
Down.
And maybe 3 more downs.
Down. Maybe keep the range on so orange. I gotta sing these notes. And then go in. That takes it back to Dorian. And I can even go up and up. Get myself reasonable range. Okay, keep doing that. Eventually you're just gonna give the commands to yourself. But we're just having the mental weight by having me follow the commands for you.
Okay.
So and we'll switch roles, and then I'll give you commands, and then
Okay.
eventually you're giving and following the commands.
Right.
Yeah, okay. So D out, then what?
Up. Down. Down. Up. Victus.
You can't do it here. Actually, you can only do it where you're on a 4.
Right.
So actually, we have to count those first. So
Okay.
we'll do that. There's another exercise before we get to that. Really,
Okay.
before
So
the
maybe up and
victa.
up and in.
Up, in. Okay, now try going to into places other than D.
Okay.
So D out, up,
Up.
in. Now we're in Lydian. This sort of sounded. Okay, that's pretend we cadence there. F out. What now? What?
Down.
Down.
Down again.
Down.
Oh,
Down.
1 down and then.
In. That's good. That's a cadence. You always add a nice load of the cadence, maybe. Be like, there we go. C out. Up or down?
Down.
Down.
What's our in there?
In. Aeolian. That's natural minor. A out. Up. I'll choose an up. And then in. Now we're in Locrian, the evil one. It's okay though when we're only one voice, though we have to harmonize it. Out.
Up.
Up.
And
In. Back to Lydian. Now try one we haven't done. So try to make sure you've tried them all.
in. Okay.
So F out. Just all of the 7 notes.
Right. So which ones have we not tried? Maybe I think we haven't done B.
We just did B.
Oh.
That was the Locrian one.
Okay.
The metal one.
Okay.
F out. Keep the melody going first though.
Down.
Down.
In.
There's Phrygian. And I can throw in some 3 voice cadences there just to give the flavor of the mode there. Okay, so E out. Now what?
Down.
Down.
One more down and in.
Down. In. We did this one. This is Locrian.
Okay.
B.
Not sure which ones we haven't
That's
tackled.
alright. You'll find them all. Well, we did A, B, C, and D, and we just haven't done G. So
Okay.
A out. Actually, B out. Up. In. Mixolydian. Okay, so now we're switch.
Okay.
Okay, so play D. D out. Up. Down, in. Now we're in Aeolian. Okay, and now take a breath and lift the key. You can just listen to it fade, and then A. Out, up. 2 hands.
Out, up. Sorry, you said out, up.
Yeah. Up. Down, in. And take a breath. And lift that key up, and A. Out, up. Down. In. Now we're in Phrygian. And I'm adding, the thing I'm adding below is called a trine. 7 plus 5 is like a power chord. It was the medieval standard chord, basically. And lift up, take a breath, and play E, and then out. Out, up, down, in. Returning to Phrygian, it's kind of dark. Go back there. And take a breath and return Phrygian. E. Out, up. Down, down. Down. And now try out. So we also go out to a 7 when it's a 7. Okay, stand up again. So to know when we can do the ficta, we have to know when it's a 3 and when it's a 4. 3 is called the minor third, 4 is called the major third. Minor originally just means smaller or larger, just like Ursa major, Ursa minor in the sky. Has all these other connotations later. So the small one is the 3, and the big one is the 4. So I'm just going to play a third, and you're going to say either 3 or 4, or a major or minor, whichever comes to mind. So, and this is a 0. And then what's this one?
So that's a 3?
4. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then what's this one?
That's a 3.
Yeah, and by the way, on the white notes, there's just 3 4s. This is a 4 with 2 black notes in the middle. This is a 4 with 2 black notes. This is a 4 with 2 black notes. The rest are 3s. So it's really just the 1, 4, and 5 in major. Those are the major note 4s, the white note 4s. So if it's not that, it's a 3. Okay, so oh, what's this?
That's 4. 3.
3.
3.
3. 4.
4. 4.
Oh. Just an O.
Okay. Oh.
And then
4.
4.
3. 3. 3. 4. Oh.
Yeah. And so the rule with the ficta is you can raise the bottom of a 4 right before a cadence. Raise bottom of 4 before cadence. So only when it's the second last note. So let's hear how that would sound in various cases. Here's D with and without and with the ficta. D out, up, down, 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 in. And then D out, up, down, 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 in. So that one's different. This one's already got a 3, so it's just D out, up, down, 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 in. And Phrygian, I always want a low note. It's the darker one, need that low note. And then Lydian, also no variation. Here's mixed Lydian without and with. Versus. So that's that. It's almost like a key change. And here's natural minor is the one without. Natural minor is the same as Aeolian. As they start adding that ficta, it gets more like the modern minor scale. So that's your proper minor. So those are the ones where it's different. It's basically going into D, going into G, and going into A. Okay, now we'll try it with 3 notes. Now I mentioned before the idea that you don't do parallel fifths. I'm going to get a new page here.
And I should honestly, because I was in the sun a bunch today.
Oh, I know.
I only have so much in my personal battery.
I know. So let's do a 3-note exercise, and it's already planned. That third thing is planned to practice for a week anyway.
Okay.
So you can always try it out and let me know how it goes for you. So normally, you don't do 7/7 in terms of intervals, not fingers. So called parallel fifths. But what you can do is what are called 6/3 chords. So if you have D, F, D, A, and F, this is called a 6/3 chord because it's a sixth and a third. And so if you have a chord like this, you can move around parallel. You can also get your fictas with it as well, actually, but it expands into a trine at the end. So you find your middle D, and you add A and F below it, and this one you can move around without parallels. The idea of avoiding parallels is so the voices all sound like they came from different singers. You don't want it to sound like it's just the overtones of one note. So it's to sound like different physical objects coming together. So try that. We're going to move this one around in steps as well. These are basically the 2 things you move in steps: thirds and 6/3 chords. And just move it around stepwise, just listen to it, feel it out. Use two hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Two hands, even though it's.
Yeah, it makes it easier to avoid repeating the finger.
Okay.
Yeah. The basic idea is this. Here, this will help you. So you want to feel the notes, and while you're holding it down, you want to feel the next notes. So while you're still holding these down, feel the next note with all new fingers, and when you feel them all, then you switch, and then feel where you came from, and go back. And just do the forward and back first. Where it's six notes, 6 fingers. So you can start with that, and then eventually you got a third one. Let's start with those 2 of them.
Okay.
6 3 chords.
Is that one?
Yeah, start with them stepwise normally, but yeah. Yeah, that's one of them. Absolutely. And now this one, I'm going to expand it into a trine like that. So try that. Go from here. And so the top, only the bottom one goes in a different direction. Think of it this way. So, first of all, think of just the top notes. They just keep going. But this time, the bottom note goes down instead of up. Down one. It's this one you start with. And then it goes up, except the bottom note goes down. Use 2 hands.
So.
Except without that middle third. Yeah, and now lift up for 1 second. Try this transition. Just do that a couple times and get used to using it in different rhythms. Kind of thing. Just going back and forth. That's how to get to a trine. Yeah. Down 1. What you have there is the A. Yep, and then move it all down 1. Yes, and that goes out into the A trine. Careful. Yeah, let's slow it down. Remember the top 2 go up and the bass goes down. Go from there. Top 2 up and bass down. Yeah. But use 2 hands easier after that. And then go back and forth between those. Yeah. Yeah, you call it Aeolian cadence. Yep. And now stand up and we'll just do one where you direct me on this.
Sure.
And then you've tried it both ways,
Yeah.
and then you know how to practice it.
Sure.
Okay. And then you already know how to make some music when you're feeling bored. Okay, so I'll go out and then I'll go in. We'll call that in even though it makes it more complicated. Okay, so just tell me up or down.
Okay, so up and in. Or you're already in, so or out.
Yeah. Except I can't go to this one without changing the notes. It's F sharp. This is the B.
Okay.
So tell me up or down from here.
Up again.
Tell me out here.
And out.
And if I cadence, I'll take a breath. Then I'm gonna go back in. And tell me up or down. Same principle.
Down. And out.
Back to Aeolian, and then back in. Up or down?
Up. And in.
You mean out?
Or out.
Yeah, they get out, it's become out.
Right.
Because there's 3 voices, they all go in. And then in. So I'll just demonstrate a few of the keys for you. So, and the ficta, you can do a double ficta. So in Dorian, for instance, that's with no alterations. And then here's with just the C sharp that we already learned with the thirds. You also could sharpen the G. I could go. And you'll hear in the idiom, also word it's like that kind of thing. So you add this one resolves into that. And by the way, that's a common pattern we have. because the 6/3 chords don't have a 7 in them, you can go to it first and then play the 7. That kind of thing. Anyway, let me just write down what we just did there.
Sure.
So,
Yeah. Then after that, I mean, my brain is pretty
yeah, I understand
fried,
the weather.
so-
No, I understand. So, we'll just make sure you can understand my chicken scratch
Yep.
here. So, rule 0, new finger rule. You don't play 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. You always switch fingers, unless there's no other possibility. Okay, and then exercise: triad melody over root drone. So we notice the triad, and then point of symmetry is what this was about. Symmetry on D, and then this describes our next exercise: parallel stepwise white note thirds with contraction cadences. That's what we were doing. In is the contraction, and then there's an example of a contraction cadence there. And I'll put in brackets here the sharp. That's the ficta. Ficta. It stands for false. That's not the real note. We made it up. And then these are the modes, arranged in the circle of fifths. These are 7 apart, right? Here, from here to there is 7 semitones. And you can modulate around. Fictas raise the bottom of 4 before the cadence. Okay, and then when we're doing 3 notes, we don't want 7/7 parallel fifths, but we do want 6/3 chords such as this. I'll write just like 3 examples here. So D, E, F can be harmonized as D, A, F, E, B, G, F, C, A, and back. And then also can use ficta. I'll just put try it so you can experiment with that one. Because you'll find if you do ficta where you're not supposed to, you get something that's more avant-garde. Like if you have, let's say you're in Phrygian and you try to do ficta on the cadence, you'll have it doesn't sound medieval exactly. You might have done that once in a while, but that's more of a cadence for something like that. It's more like going to 5 in the minor. Because later, by the way, political factoid, over history, just like in politics, music became polarized. And that we got the major minor system where there was a fixation on Aeolian and Ionian. Because all of this ficta became so common, they started editing all of the other modes into this one, editing these modes into that one, and there was a collapse into like a 2-party system, essentially. So now when we hear this, we don't think, oh, you've cadenced into Phrygian, we think you're going to go into A minor. And so it's hard to reclaim that modal feeling sometimes. The modern implications can come in, but basically music was modal, and then it was tonal, and then it was atonal. Yeah. All right. This usually goes in a binder. I don't know if you have one, but
I have my notebook.
Perfect. And if you do manage to practice, you can write me any questions anytime if anything is
Yeah, I
unclear.
do have a piano at home, so
Perfect.
I actually can give it a whirl. Usually it's my partner's more musically inclined than me. But
Well, now you get to be creative just like that.
Yeah.
Any old scale, you can already harmonize it in thirds.
yeah.
And if you ever don't know what to practice, just send me a message and I can describe an exercise just like that for your
Sweet.
next level. And whenever you're ready for,
Awesome.
or pass the word around. And
Awesome.
give us some help.
And yeah, I'd love to chat a little bit on the porch maybe about
Sure.
your practice.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm happy to pay for the lesson and
Sure.
and all your knowledge.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Help me with these McDonald's root beers that keep getting through the heat wave. Good thing they're only $1.
Yeah.
And you want to chat on camera and
Yeah,
here, or-
on the porch is ideal.
Okay. Oh, because that's your thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to chatting by the piano.
Oh right. But yeah, in this case it's
I've done a
all
few other
it's all
chats
porch
here.
conversations.
Yeah. What gave you the idea for this project?
It was kind of like from just walking around my neighborhood. I'm kind of like Corso Italia, like St. Clair West, and there's a lot of older folks out front. And so originally I thought, okay, like it'd be cool just to like chat with these old timers watching the world go by, and then I kind of expanded it and thought, well, I should try to talk to them, but also just talk to anyone on their porch.
Yeah.
And just it's kind of taken on a life of its own now, and now I'm just like trying to talk to as many people as I can this summer from their porch.
It's a good thing I cleaned my porch.
Yeah.
You want a Starburst?
No thanks.
What do you think? You don't like eating a bunch of wax or everything either.
Where is that McDonald's? That might be McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's the bathroom. Dundas.
Crackers Dundas, yeah, $1 root beer.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll try to upsell you on the $1.50 cookie, but you can just get the root beer. I mean, the cookie is freshly baked, so. I normally don't go to McDonald's during the summer. I get the drink specials. Most now I was like, you guys require a cell phone after hours? I don't like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you changing lens for the
Yep.
talking portion?
Yeah, it's like I use 2 different lenses, and I like to. I'm actually. It's kind of like not the standard expectation, but I'm actually doing a lot of the interviews really wide.
So are you in like a school program? Is this like a thing you do, or?
I mean, this is what I do in terms of freelancing. Like I freelance doing videography.
Oh, I might need your services at some point.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, this is like.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just turn this into like this is basically a passion project.
Because if I do a big show where I rent a venue, I'll want someone to film it for me.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Like for music.
Yeah, the audio.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know much about miking piano, so maybe that'll be your homework if I attract you for that. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but usual panelists will be like, here is a major scale. Here are 10 different major scales, opposed to like, here are all of the modes. Never mind the black notes yet. It just goes to show like the producer consumer culture is produced music education, where it's like, just produce the thing, like never mind the creativity. I figure it's because of the birth of recording. Performers were competing recordings.
Okay.
And what does recording do? It repeats exactly. Recording's not creative, but it's something that you can edit with, right?
More comfortable now for me. I was just sorry, man. I was sweating in there, but I appreciated it. It was cool. So how long have you been doing those lessons?
Well, I first taught piano as a teenager, so a long time. I'm 42. This brand and this location, I've been here about 10 years, and started doing those posters up a few years in. And originally, I just made a Craigslist ad, and I hinted the title for the ad. I thought. Anarchist panelist, as I showed my friend, she said, that's a perfect description for what you do. You have to like build up that brand and keep it. I was like, really? Is it just like one Craigslist post? Like I just typed all caps, anarchist piano lessons, and my friend was like, that's perfect. That's your brand. I was like, what? She was like, yeah. I'm like, okay, let me double check. And I researched more about anarchism, because even before, people had told me based on my intellectual arguments, you sound like an anarchist. And I was like, what's that? And I was an anarchist before I identified as one, because of an argument I made that was basically like, the more freedom you give people, in principle, the better their decisions could be, because everyone has information that you don't have access to. It's called their intuition. So as freedom goes up, so does access to people's intuition. That's more information. So freedom means better decisions are possible. As opposed to the authority mind stuff, you have to force stupid people to do the right thing. It's like, no, everyone has a wealth of information inside of it, which is their intuition. And that's what you unleash in a creative kind of lesson, is trying to unlock people's intuition. So it's just follow instructions. You're the one giving instructions to yourself, but as long as you're the one giving the instructions to follow the instructions, then your intuition can take over. And I believe that about society in general. I believe to minimize laws and things like that, so that people have. There's some laws I believe in a lot, but almost being equal. Every law you put in has a price, because you're putting in commands instead of letting people choose intuitively. And so you have to kind of budget how much authority goes into the world. Once I started, I did get more involved in politics. I ran for office a couple times, actually, worked for the NDP. I knew that I was going to pursue politics as well. I had been in student politics at U of T, as student union president, and eventually studied where cognitive science intersects with political science. And I knew that was going to be a research direction for me going forward. So I thought, well, while I'm building my piano practice, I can even be explicit about that. And I'll be running for office again next year, probably for either city council or school board. I got to decide. And push for, music programs, stuff like that. Yeah. Next question.
How did it go with when you ran most recently?
Well, as an independent, I did normal for an independent. It's very hard at the federal level for an independent with a party brand. When I ran for council, I was the median candidate, out of a race of 14, so I could have a chance next time. It's very difficult as an independent without party branding and all the money that comes with that, but it did very well in terms of the argumentation. As with kind of what I was saying with the music, I gave people a voice by talking to everybody I could and putting what they believed into the platform. So if you look at my old Evic John Tory platform, and there's a song to go with it, all of those platform points are from talking to real people and seeing how they wanted the rules to change. Kind of like how people do when they're improvising, they're changing the rules as they're going. And it's the same way I do, they teach kids coding now, and I like to emphasize that by learning how to program the rules, you can learn to question the rules and change the rules as you go. That's what politics is about too, changing the rules. What's interesting? Rules. Most people get authoritarian piano lessons. That's what this is supposed to be the opposite of. The opposite of authoritarianism. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I've talked to some people lately for this, like some residents who, like one guy, he got super engaged with his city councilor and was like, it's like sort of typical trivial stuff with like street parking issues and all that kind of stuff. But he gave me an earful, but it was interesting that he said he got super engaged with just that, like the city councilors in his point of view are like totally out to lunch and totally useless.
Yeah, I'm going to make an app, which is what I originally intended to do, but I thought I should actually study politics before I just come in as a programmer and say I know what to do. Now I spend the time in politics, I'm like, okay, I know what to not do, which is what you were doing, what you were doing. And I'm going to make an app that basically, when your representative votes for you, you get an email that says, you were just represented. Do you agree? And then it just does the stats to say how often does a councillor go against what their voters actually want. And then you could rank councillors from first to last, who's the most representative. And then they would know, and it would be a force to compel them to vote differently, because most people are not paying attention. And it could be a very simple app, all the data's public, and it's in the back of my head. I've been programming it in my head for a while to actually do it.
So, I'm asking people about what's going on in their immediate area. Obviously, there's all these stuff going on in Kensington. What's like I saw some of the headlines about police presence during Pedestrian Sunday, I think, or maybe they even canceled the Pedestrian Sunday. I don't know. It seems like there's stuff going on with encampment stuff and police, and what's going on. So
Yeah, I've been meaning to get to the end of the part about Pedestrian Sunday. You would think with a business like this, I'd be on the BIA, but I got emailed them again and be like, where's your next meeting, guys? But there used to be I could be charitable to different parties here in the theory I give. The reality is that various neighborhoods eventually get tired of having encampments, sadly, and I think this neighborhood got tired of it. I didn't get tired of it, but it was when I was at work that the encampment was torn down. Usually I would be calling people and trying to help organize a sudden protest or something like that. That's why the church encampment is still there. We had a 12-hour standoff with the cops, and it's still there. The park encampment disappeared when I would have been known to not be down here, because my work schedule was easy to figure out. And back when I was involved in these activist groups, things started to happen like that. Like when I was at a conference, that's when a whole bunch of shit went down. And because I would have tried to stop it, and I would have, I already did try to stop it in some other cases. How I got involved with Torch and Socialist Action, Socialist Alliance, but I suspect that there's been a changeover, changing tides of feeling on the BIA and Friends of Kensington and so on. Last time I spoke to Serena Purdy, which is who the NDP did run instead of me, I asked her, well, what happened? She said, oh, well, you should ask Maggie. And Maggie said, well, they're probably covering their ass, so it's all legal. And I said, I don't know if it's legal, because there's a new precedent that was supposedly established in Waterloo that you can't evict people if there's somewhere for them to go. Well, there's nowhere for them to fucking go. And the only way they make that work is, well, they just withhold space from some other people somewhere else and say, well, there's technically 5 beds out. Even though they're not creating beds, they're just displacing people who are even more invisible to make it legal. So that legal precedent was set, but it has a loophole. And that loophole has to be fixed. And in the meanwhile, people in this neighborhood have gotten tired, and people in the Hammonds have had to move elsewhere. And, you know, I mean, I get that it shouldn't be every park, but when they had just cleared Bellevue Square and Alexander Park still had tents, I said, okay, fair enough. That's the bigger park. This is the small park. Maybe just told them to go one park over. But then that was cleared, and then the little corner parkette was cleared. And over the past couple months, it's been eugenic the way they've been clearing encampments around here and doing it real quietly. They've gotten way better at timing it, making sure the noisiest people, such as myself, aren't around when it happens. And they're gone. These people are all being invisibilized. So, you know, more politics is required, what can I say? Yeah.
You know where they're being sent?
They're not being sent, they're being told to GTFO. They have to find somewhere. They're not, supposedly they're being sent somewhere, but it's really, well, someone is being told to GTFO because they're not creating beds. You know, so. They might be token getting this person a spot, so the person who's most conspicuous is getting a spot. But there's no indication that they're creating extra spots for any of that. So it's bad, and Kensington is not the haven that it was for those folks. And it's gentrification. Kensington is being gentrified. This is the, you know, the inflection point. It happened to Yorkville. The streets used to be full of hippies in Yorkville. They removed them physically by force. They weren't even homeless. They're just there, and they just moved them all out. And that's when Rochdale had the locks on its doors, and all of the hippies from Yorkville went into Rochdale for a deck already, and they had to go to Parkdale. But you know, gentrification moves like that. I don't know where the next Kensington will be. Maybe it'll want to be in the city, but you know, it's. I used to say this is the least boring neighborhood, except maybe the village. I teach in the junction at Ultimate Colors. Maybe that's going to become interesting. Right now, that neighborhood reminds me of Barrie, where I grew up, in terms of like that sort of stores of like downtown Barrie. Just like a self-contained little, got one everything, you know. But yeah, it's you know, Olivia Chow is ideologically better than John Tory, but that doesn't magically create money any more than these rules magically create beds. And they increased the vacancy tax. They doubled it once. When I was running for council, I said we should have a rule that always doubles, so maybe they'll double it again. Because they technically, in a way you could say technically listen to me, that it was doubled once. And if we keep doubling the vacancy tax, we could address this problem. That would be much better than invisibilizing all those people by just placing them for select parks and all of this stuff. And the sad thing is that after you evict all of the tents, you get the same problem that people still hanging in the neighborhood doing the same street harassment they do. Those aren't homeless people. Those are just people who people thought those were the homeless people. No, they're just bums who hang around. Not they have a place to go. They're drunks. There's a couple drunks who are always there, no matter whether there's tents or not. But they don't police the behavior very well. They police what looks bad for property. Oh, there's tents, so you can see the tent. Okay, well it doesn't matter whether you can see the tent. What matters is whether so-and-so is street harassing people. You know, that's. We don't live in such a perfect world, I guess. Sometimes I don't know how to finish my rants because I just presenting a problem like, and I haven't solved that problem, and neither of you, no one solved it. But yeah, that's the deal. Ask me something else.
You know, it's all good, man. This is the whole thing, is like, chatting through these things.
Absolutely, yeah.
Just like, I'm kind of like, in terms of images, this summer I'm really like into the cranes in the sky thing. Just in terms of like, especially like, it's amazing in the West End. Like I'm further West End, and there's just so many cranes and like Lansdowne and all that. And the cranes right next to like the old brick homes. There's something about that contrast that I just find like very visually interesting. And yeah, like there's a bunch going on here. There's here on the other side, like towards Spadina. I don't know. Do you know what this one is? Do you know what they're doing there?
No. Oh no, that one. That one's Toronto Western. But there's lots of empty condos. You know, the vacancies are part of the problem.
Yeah, and well, yeah, and that's worth touching on, like, because yeah, I mean, I totally agree that it's such a silly thing too, like in Toronto, especially like, you see it in the summertime. You just notice that people aren't around. They don't even use their homes. They're just like vanity homes that are empty all summer long. But I guess because the vanity thing isn't that all you have to do. They have to occupy it for at least 6 months of the year, right? Or,
So what? To out of the vacancy?
Yeah, it's not the tax.
Something like that. The tax is still too small. I think it went from 2% to 4%, or 1% to 2%, something like that.
Right. But either way, like,
They can afford it.
I mean, I'm kind of a pessimist for stuff like this, but like to me, it's like that people could probably bullshit their way around it anyway, right? If it's like, oh, if I have to show occupancy for 6 months, they can just, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, at least it sends a message to people who want to follow the rules that the space is needed. You know, because there's some people think, well, you know, the market takes care of it. You know, we paid a fair price, we can leave it empty. It's like, well, the market also says you owe 4%, 8%, 60% now. And if they understand that, at least, if even half of those people are good people who say like, oh, okay, I guess we should rent it out because otherwise we're going to pay tax. You know? Because that is part of the role of these rules, is to set like a moral norm. You know, like what is normal behavior? You know, is normal behavior not caring that you're leaving your house empty all year? No, that's not normal behavior.
No,
It's not moral. And by the way, during COVID, you realize that vacancies went through the roof during COVID because people wanted fewer people in their house because it's a disease vector. And so people who are renting 2 rooms who say, oh, I'm just going to rent 1 room, or, you know, they were renting 1 room and decided they're going to rent no rooms. That happened all at once when COVID happened. So, you know, I'm pretty sure it was like, nobody really measured it properly because all the shit was going down, but you basically doubled homelessness right when COVID started. That's because people wanted vacancies to keep themselves alive. So, and then we saw the Kansas pop up just like that. And, you know, all the politics that played out after that. But yeah, now Toronto's feeling comfortable, more bougie again. Being like, oh, we're gonna look nice, we're gonna have travelers again. Yeah, it's but you gotta chase the problem further up. That's one reason I ended up running federally. You can blame the city and they can say, well, we don't have any money. You can blame the province and they can say, well, we don't they do have money, but the city doesn't have money. The province has money, but the province can say it doesn't have money. And the federal government can't say that because they can print money. And so I really think either the federal government should be solving this problem, or they should be giving the province the ability to print money, or the province should give the city the ability to print money. Because if it's a basic need, it's more expensive not to meet the need than to print the money to fill it. You know, we should just have a vote of like which needs are most basic, and the top 3, top 10, we print money for those. We say those are the basic needs. You need land, you need housing, you know, you need education, all this stuff. Just print money for the top 10, and we should have just rank order it based on a rank ballot. Everybody vote. What are the basic needs? People are going to agree. Food's going to be right up there. Whether they're going to vote that food is your 100th need. No. So, you know, it's not that hard to figure out, except we've only had this printer money for 50, 70 years anyway. And so we're in the, I hope what's happening is that we're in the first phase of fiat currency where it's used for authority and power. And then we'll enter a stage in which it's used for actual socialism light, not like loss of personal property or that crap, but just meeting basic needs with printed money. You know? It's possible. It's certainly possible. I may just answer one question and you're gonna like that. It's like, you be careful, you did say rant.
It's all good. I'm gonna just sit back and I'm gonna let it roll while you enjoy a smoke of that.
Okay.
For a little B-roll shot.
There's this guy who volunteered in my federal campaign. He took a lot of footage. It's still up there. I can send you the footage if you want some weird B-roll.
Like B-roll just of what you hanging around?
Campaigning and just, yeah, weird conversation. He put it all on some random web. I'll send you the link anyway if you need some extra footage. You got it. Who knows, maybe, I don't know what kind of projects he'll ultimately work on. I don't know if he wants to do film or something like that. He's got to be sort of what he wants to do.
But then, I mean, I really respect that you got engaged to actually like run and all that. Like that feels scary, or I don't know. I just feel like a lot of the younger generation, and like I'm 36, so I'm not much younger than you, but like a little bit younger than us. I feel like that generation, it seems like they're kind of feeling a bit like hopeless in terms of like they don't feel like they have the ability to have any power. But I mean, I feel like I don't know, like what? Well, yeah, I guess as a question, like what was it like when you made that leap into like actually putting your name out there and becoming part of the route race?
Well, for me, it was a bit more inevitable because I've been in student politics. I was a student union president twice, and during that time, people do ask you, like, are you going to run later? And so, you know, I already had that question in my head. And when you have that question in your head, it makes it that much more frustrating when you're watching the news and being like, what the fuck are you doing? Because everybody has that feeling of frustration and like, you can respond to that in various ways. You can turn it off. You can say you can get angry about something else. You can post about it. You can try to do something about it. And I basically say that it's harder not to run than to run at a certain point, because otherwise you're sitting there. It's like sitting on the benches while you're watching your team play the game. You're like, oh my God, what are you doing? And I used to have a teacher who used to tell the class, since the class is in grade 7, 8, they'd be like, what was on TV last night, Mr. Holmes? Did you want to throw your shoe at the television again? And he was like, no, not today. And then other times he'd be like, no, today I did want to throw my shoe at the television last night. And he'd be like, what was it? And he'd tell us about it. We learned a lot from what he wanted to throw his shoe at the television about. And I just, every now and then I would see myself as my old teacher, Mr. Holmes. I didn't have a shoe in hand, but I felt physically like I had my shoe in my hand. And I was ready to throw it at the YouTube, because of course it's not television anymore. And I thought, no, he was too big. He had to teach us. He had a full-time job. I was doing this. I'm teaching in the evenings at Ultimate Coders, but I've managed to carve myself enough temporal freedom as well. So I had that little bit of freedom to invest the time to do it as well. And not everyone has that. I've often been cash poor but time rich, and which is something I've craved for. Freedom of curriculum design, freedom of thought. Like I went to university seeking freedom of thought. Most graduate students seem to gradually lose their freedom of thought. I'm not so sure about that. And that's also part of why I ended up doing this in the shadow of the university, is doing my own educational initiative here. But yeah, so mostly people don't have enough time to do activism, to do volunteering, to follow the news, to follow the latest arguments. What's happened lately, though, is that people are investing more and more time in politics, but it's not in electoral politics. And it happened during COVID, and I was thinking, oh, now everyone's studying politics, maybe we'll have a revolution or something, peaceful one, to prevent the future violence. But the time that people spend in politics now is disproportionate to how little time they spend in electoral politics. Because now you have people, 10 years ago you could ask people and you just get blank stares, but now you'll get people, they'll literally argue about politics every day but not vote, for instance. Argue about electoral politics every day but not vote. Like they can say the word Trump, let's say they're in America, they say the word Trump every day, but they don't vote. Or in Canada, you can find people who they say they don't care about politics, which is how they excuse not voting, but then if you get them on the right topic, because they've watched such and such a YouTube program, they'll go on and on about this, blah, 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 and it's like, oh, so you do care about politics, you have all this whole opinion, and it's connected to how they're voting, the electoral politicians, but they're not voting. So it's just not, people need to make that extra connection and really connect it back to the game board, because the political media right now is designed to be distracting. It's designed to feel engaging, but actually be distracting, where you're not starting a party, you're not getting a vote for someone you know who's a candidate, or you're not getting a donation for a campaign that you support, you're like doing something else. It's like, but you have to do the actual stuff. You gotta get the votes, you gotta get the donations, you gotta get the candidates, and people just need to stop making excuses for saying, oh, but I wouldn't be able to do anything anyway. And it's like, look, if you're gonna spend 3 hours a day on politics, which you are spending 3 hours a day on politics, do it right. Sign up with a party, register your name, get the donations, open that bank account you gotta do the boring shit, because then when you're posting on the internet, whatever the rage bait's got you doing, at least you can focus it on a name. And I think that, one day we'll figure that out, maybe with some apps, something like that. Yeah, eventually it's more frustrating not to do anything. Until you get exhausted and then you relax for a few months.
And like in general, you didn't find the experience too soul sucking or too deflating, or like, I'm sure there's like ugly parts to it, but like to you it's like you're willing to put up with the ugly parts to keep pushing, or?
Well, there's electoral politics and then there's party politics. And I did work for party politics while Jagmeet Singh was there, and when he stepped down, they sent a thing around, sent a message to Jagmeet or about Jagmeet or whatever, and I said he was the man honest enough to get me involved in party politics, and now it might be time for me to lead party politics as well. I might be starting a party called the Anarchist Party of Canada, actually. We might start with simple efforts like email polling of the nation. I have a simple question I want to ask the whole country, which is, what question do you wish the government would ask you? The government won't even ask you a meta question like that. There's very little effort from the government to find how people really feel. That's why we want to bring ballots. That would be more information about how people feel. Party politics project is something that I got involved in, saying to myself, well, I'm going to. My mother didn't let me watch City Hall as a kid because she was afraid I would learn how to lie. And when I got involved in party politics, I said to myself, I'll tell the truth and see how long I last. And telling the truth did get me into trouble multiple times. And so I think there's a limited shelf life if you go into any of the conventional parties at this point. I'm still a bit partial to the NDP despite their serial abuse of many of their volunteers and myself. I think these political parties are a bit like cults, and I'm very against cults. In fact, there's a cult that I rarely against locally that I could go on about that they burning people coercively. And the cult aspects of party politics are very anathema. And if you look at something like the NDP, what you'll see is that mostly there's only a few, or in any parties, there's just a few people who are independent thinkers. Like in the NDP, I can tell that Jessica Bell is an independent thinker. In the Conservative Party, I can tell that Melissa Lansman is an independent thinker, but mostly people are not. Their brain switches off at some point and they just kind of do whatever. And even those people who are independent thinkers in the parties, they're coping somehow. They have to make some adjustment somewhere, and they can't say everything they think. They're not completely free. And in the Anarchist Party of Canada, you would be. So I'll have to register that party soon. You know.
Cool. Yeah, I won't take up much more time. I should get more of a general definition, or your, like, you know, the word anarchy and anarchist scares people because it's kind of a scary sounding word.
Yeah.
But if you're giving someone the quick Coles notes on what it means to be an anarchist, what's the sort of Coles notes on that?
Well, the guy who defined the word Prude Home was actually talking about Jesus. So I don't know if that's scary or not. But
Sorry, can you say the guy who defined the word?
The word anarchism.
Yes. Okay.
The guy who defined the word anarchism, Prude Home, was actually talking about Jesus. I don't know if that's scary or not. But it's the anti-authoritarianism of Jesus. And other anti-authoritarian figures existed earlier that I think are also anarchists, even though the word didn't exist, such as Socrates, I think of as an anarchist, and I probably identify more with Socrates than with Jesus, for instance, but I think of them both as anarchists. And skepticism is something that many people are familiar with in philosophy, from Descartes, Socrates, Hero, etc., questioning things. And the definition I like of anarchism, which is close to Chomsky's definition and close to Proudhon's approach, is that it's skepticism focused on power. Because you could doubt anything, but you can't doubt everything all at once. So your doubts have a sequence to them. And so there's a question of, because we don't have the infinite power to doubt everything all at once, what do you doubt first? And we live in a culture in which people often wake up and doubt themselves first, and then they have to go buy something to fix themselves. They have to go buy makeup, or they gotta go buy, I don't know what the fuck guys buy to fix themselves, steroids. And they gotta go, they sell you, or anyone will buy ADHD medication because you're sold that you're deficient in this way. And you should doubt the government first, not yourself. That's the basic idea. You should not doubt yourself first. There's no reason, just because everything is doubtable, that any particular order of doubts is proven as the correct order of doubts. But I think there's a lot of experience that shows that it's better to doubt power. Power is not self-justifying. The way Chomsky defines it is that power is not self-justifying. The burden of proof is basically on whoever wants a power difference. So if I take you in a music lesson and I say this scale is better than this scale, I would have to say why. If you're not convinced, you shouldn't believe it. That's not the way music theory is usually taught. It's taught, this is bad, this is good, that's the answer. And it's a case of education in general. I hate authoritarian education. And education should be where you're taught how to question power systematically in a way which sometimes you get good answers and then the power is justified. And it's like, oh, I got a good answer, that's why it is better to do this rather than if I want to kind of stand. Otherwise, you don't understand it. It's not justified, there's no learning anyway. So, authoritarian education is kind of an oxymoron. To the extent that it's authoritarian, you're not really learning. That's a good way to explain it. Yeah. So question power. Question everything, but question power first. You can question, so in music, you can question power differences between teacher and student. You can question power differences between different genres. You can question power differences between different notes. That's kind of where atonal music comes in, where all the notes are equal. There's one tonic that has power over the other notes. And you can question power difference between different instruments. Why is guitar dominant in a certain genre or something like that? Anyway, you can question any power difference that it comes up. And you can do computer programming. You can do it in a way where you question how authoritarian. The authoritarian, no votes on anything.
And I'm just gonna get a shot of this, and then the last thing I'll do is I'm getting like a shot of everyone's view from their porch.
Oh, cool.
So I will do that.
Oh, you want to do it from this ottoman?
Oh, from like somewhere over there. Doesn't have to literally be on the ottoman, but
Yeah.
that's good. How long did you say you've been here?
About 10 years.
Okay, yeah, nice.
I lived in the annex before, so I've been for about 20 years. I was born here as well, and grew up in Barrie. Boring Barrie.
Yeah.
Very boring.
Sweet. Here.
What's your day job? You doing this freelancing or?
Yeah, like I do a lot of video editing. I'd say video editing is the number one thing I do for in terms of making an income. But I also do videography. Like this is my gear because I've had enough client work over the years to like, buy equipment and a lot of reasons to buy equipment. So part of the reason why I'm doing this project is I have all this gear. I have time on my hands this summer, so I thought I don't know. It seemed like the time was right. Kind of like, you know what I mean, like. It's one of those things. Time is interesting. Like when sometimes it's like a currency that sometimes you do have more of it than others.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, right now I don't have a day job, so I have some currency and time, and I'm trying to use that currency to like see if I can make something of it.
Well, at some point after I get the teaching studio kind of rebooted, I'll be posting, advertising more concerts and like booking. I don't know if I'll be using here or booking venues at first, but I definitely at some point will be booking venues, and the goal eventually do like a monthly show somewhere. I'll need someone to film and like mic the piano. So that's probably just the missing question is I've been meaning to learn what's the best way to mic different kinds of pianos or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me a shout. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on audio as far as instrumentation, but I do like my brother is a musician, and maybe
Yeah, it probably won't be until October. But
Okay.
then, yeah. We'll see.
yeah.
Looks like our program's by then.
And if I do turn this into anything, I'll get everyone's permission. So that's my
sure.
simple one page.
Oh yeah, I
Job
don't believe in intellectual
release.
property. I also used to be involved with the pirate party. So I hereby abolish all intellectual property.
Well, because yeah, part of my goal is like, maybe I can, by the time it's all done, have something to show to like a TVO or something.
Perfect.
The only issue is, those broadcasters, they want to play by the rules, so they would want me to make sure I have all my
Sure.
paperwork in order.
Absolutely. It would be a different form. You get me to sign to say I don't believe in intellectual property. The big pirate flag. On it. What's the date?
Today is the, I want to say, is it the 12th already? Yes, 12th.
There you go.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's a good project. There's you seen that guy who has he has a channel where he walks around while he films in Toronto?
I think so. I've heard a couple people like that. Like, do you know what this guy's name
I'm
is?
trying to remember.
Is it like more downtown and he talks to people who are like kind of like struggling on the street, or?
I remember I'll send you one.
Okay. Yeah, I know there's one that I saw someone mention that's like he more specifically. I think he does more like Regent Park and that east downtown, and he talks to people that are kind of like struggling.
The guy I've seen, I think he's more of a tourist approach almost.
Okay.
I'm not sure he's probably should be doing that. It's on Instagram. I don't see it much on YouTube. I'm not sure. I don't want that Instagram trash on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's a self-respecting person who wastes their time in a self-respecting way. I I used to be able to say, oh yeah, because I'm watching long form now. I'm watching a freaking YouTube shorts, being like, I would never go on TikTok. YouTube shorts. Oh my god.
I know, because they're like, and they're in that vertical format too, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I prefer the long form. Get a good 3-hour show. You share it once, and then you don't have to like. I just share everything I watch. And so when things are short, I either have to click a lot more buttons or instead of a script to like automatically share. So long form is. Well, I mean, classical music is more long form.
What are you doing as far as YouTube ads?
I should be doing a YouTube ad. I don't have any YouTube ads.
No, I mean like.
Blocking them?
Yeah. Because like
I have YouTube Premium.
Okay. So you're just like, it's only what, $10 a month or something?
Yeah, I use YouTube so much, and I use it on mobile now. So through the premium, you can turn the screen off and all that. And that's good for hands-free, because it's like listening to the radio. Then as opposed to being internet addiction.
Right.
Like I'll turn something long on, so I don't have to press a button for the next 3 hours, and just turn the phone screen off. And then I could be biking, I could be cleaning the house or whatever. It's good for that kind of. I like the kind of multitasking where you're mostly not on the computer.
Right. Well, do you do podcasts?
Yeah. Yeah, I share pretty much everything I listen to, so you'll see my stream of links on Facebook, Twitter, and probably Blue Sky or LinkedIn, but less consistently. Definitely Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, well, if you know of anyone, like I'd love to talk to more Kensington people
Okay.
in general. So like if anyone comes to mind this summer who,
Anthony Schofield.
okay, who's that?
He's a street artist. He does all these paintings of big skeletons and stuff.
Okay.
If you go, as you head out, if you go to Kensington Avenue, that's where his biggest murals are. He kind of hangs out there. He also works for like Streets to Homes and stuff. He's an artist.
Anthony Schofield?
Schofield.
Okay.
He's also known as Shit Show. It's his
Okay.
other name. So if you're really just asking, hey, like, where is Shit Show? They'd be like, oh, he's right there. Or tell them you're looking for Anthony Schofield, the street artist.
Yeah.
You can tell him Adam Golding sent you.
Okay.
He knows you.
And does he live in Kensington?
Yeah, I mean, I see him like every day, so yeah, he's around. And yeah, he does amazing street art. The city paints over it, he does it again. The city paints over it, he does it again. And then they find him, and then I think he does it again. What other kind of interview subjects are you looking for, and what's the goal?
Pretty eclectic, like I'm trying to just find interesting things. Like I talked to someone who plays her harp on her porch. Next week there's like a dance festival called Porch View Dances. That's been going on for actually quite a while. So it's, I don't know, it's just kind of cool for me to like mix in different arts of like music,
Have
dance.
you talked to Reg Hart?
It's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, I haven't talked to him yet. I would like to. Do you know if he's still alive? Or?
Yeah. He messages me.
Oh, okay, cool. I was just thinking about him, 'cause, like, over the year, I've never met him, I've heard about him over the years, and then I was thinking, okay, like, if I'm trying to, like, hit all the big arts, cinema, he could check that box off for me, so, yeah, I'll have to try to get his contact or something.
He's 1 street over. He's probably sitting in his porch right now.
Really? Okay. Cause he's right there, like, he's on.
The bathroom's right up.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so he's on my list of people to reach out to, or just try to run into.
Yeah, he'll definitely give you some material.
Yeah, especially because like he's been around a while, so like, people that have been around a while have even more insight into whatever changes have occurred and all that.
He has a lot to say, that's for sure.
Right.
And yeah, Anthony Schofield for sure.
Okay, that's awesome. Like that's what what's great is that everyone I talk to leads like a dominoes me to other people. So.
Yeah, actually, Bobby Gatta put the original piano in Kensington. He sometimes plays synth on basically his porch, like on his street level porch.
Okay.
So we reach out to him too. Bobby Gatta.
Bobby Gatta, like G-A-T-T-A.
G-A-D-D-A. You can probably just message him online.
Okay.
And he's part of Friends of Kensington. Do you know that group, Friends of Kensington?
No.
Yeah, hit them up too, I guess. Friends of Kensington Market.
Okay.
They might have some suggestions. Yeah, Bobby Gada, G-A-D-A.
Yeah, and the other one was Anthony Schofield.
Yeah, let me get that. And Reg Hart, and you can go to Derek at Trees in the Six, talk to him.